Meantime, as companies struggle to entice more workers to come back into the office, one CEO is creating an office environment to encourage more employees to show up in person. We're going to talk to him right now. His name is Seth Besmertnik. He is the CEO and the founder of Conductor. And we were just talking a little bit earlier because we've done a lot of stories on how do workers feel? Do they like hybrid? Do they like stay at home? And overall, when you see these surveys, people like the idea of staying at home at least for a portion of the week. Why do you think it's important for people to come into the office?
Well, from a company's perspective, it's important because you want your people, which generally is the biggest place where you invest your resources and your money. You want them to be helping each other and working together. And while you can be very productive at home doing your job, it's very hard to help the person sitting next to you and the group that you're in. It's really hard to collaborate on projects.
Right.
And I think for individuals, the workplace for many, especially folks that are out of school, building their career, it's a place where you get great professional development. You learn communication skills, speaking skills. You learn how to interact. You learn how to use. You learn how to do certain things that you get in the office.
Right.
It's also a place to build community. It's a place to build friendships. It's a place to build network. All of that becomes significantly difficult if you're 100% of the time, on Zoom or behind a computer.
Yeah, and when we talked earlier, you said, you could be productive at home, but that collaboration is just not the same. So then what were some of the hurdles that you thought of when you thought, okay, I'm going to approach the staff. I'd like to see all of them coming into the office for at least a portion of the week. What were some of the hurdles you identified, and then what have you been doing to overcome those hurdles?
Absolutely. So we spent a lot of time listening to people about what they really wanted. And it wasn't black and white. It wasn't just like, we want to be home, we want to come in.
Yeah.
They want different things. So for example, a benefit of being remote is that you can kind of go anywhere in some cases. So what we did as part of our strategy, so our strategy is you come into the office 3 days a week, you're home or anywhere you want effectively 2 days a week. Well, you also have a month in the year, which we call YOLO, which is you can go anywhere in the world. The whole office shuts down. All of our offices shut down, and you can have a remote experience without having to fully give up the community of actually going into an office.
Wow.
So there's a lot of different things that we've done to make it so we could sort of meet the flexibility desires of our people while also creating the collaboration community that we are looking to.
And it's also the office, like the office space is being transformed, right?
Yeah, we did invest in a new office. So we made a big decision, which was to invest in a larger, better office here in New York City. So we just signed a 10-year lease, which is pretty exciting.
Yes. And I mean, a lot of people are sort of trying to unload their leases now, a lot of companies. So this is different.
Yeah, we're a little crazy in that sense. But if people are going to come in, it's got to be a great experience. And the reason why people come in is they come in for each other, right? The coffee and the extra things are nice, but they come in for each other. They come in for the friendships. They come in for the community, and ultimately to do great work for customers, right? It's really hard to work together on projects that really make a difference when you're doing it entirely all day. It's partially entirely on virtually. And some of that is just because body cues and looking at each other, and some of that it just gets draining being staring at a screen for the entire day.
So part of this though is kind of like speculation. It's like your best guess, right? But this costs money, and you got to sort of somehow figure out why this is a cost-effective way of spending that money. Was it difficult to argue, listen, we don't need less office space, we actually need more?
Well, for us, we look at the data as well. So every half year, we do a survey with all of our people, and we get these scores, which are how engaged are you? Engagement is really commensurate with how much you believe in things, how much are you willing to put in the effort. We look at your belonging. Do you feel connected? Do you feel part of the organization? And for all of the years up until when the company all went remotely due to the pandemic, we had very high scores, high 80s, 90s. When the pandemic came, we went down to in the mid 50s. And people were feeling disconnected. They were feeling not part of the company. They were feeling disengaged. And actually, it wasn't until we started bringing people back into the office, not everybody, but people back into the office, where we started to see those numbers actually change. So I would think, from my perspective, while it could be nice to save money on office space, I think the bigger risk is around attrition, engagement, and really making sure our people feel activated and excited to do what they're doing every day. That's how we do our best work, and that's really the most sort of profitable thing for us to do.
Yeah, Seth, that's so fascinating. Well, good luck. I'm going to be watching. Do you think hybrid's here to stay?
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
I think so.
Definitely not going to be 5 days in the week across the board. Yeah. And I think starting school and spending the rest of your 30-year career sitting in your living room is probably not the case either. Right?
I like YOLO month. I'm down with that. Thank you so much, Seth.
Thank you very much for having me.